Alright, Mother Day's over and both my grandmas on both sides are dead. And just in case they aren't, I got crucifixes on all sides of my house, salt in front of all the doors, and my hand is currently positioned on the Holy Bible. Them old ain't stopping. Which means we can finally talk about gilfs, which just means a grandma I'd like to. Yeah. Voice, you lock all the windows. They're dead, you idiot. You can never be too sure, Voice. If my grandma's ever found out I made a video about is it wise to date a gilf, they'd be like, nigga, did I just catch you having fun? Damn! Then she whip out the belt like a lightsaber and pull out more craftier moves than Yoda. I ain't fighting no goddamn Jedi. What I look like? Deadpool. Exactly! I look like Deadpool. I ain't fighting no old lady with a lightsaber. I got guns. I'm gonna shoot the bitch. She got 1 foot in the grave anyway. Old mean harlot ain't gonna touch my cheeks. My booty dodged the belt like Spider-Man dodged bullets. And to this day, I ain't never been caught lacking. Anyway, love you, Grandma. Sorry you're dead. Now let's talk about those old granny cheeks. And then we took over the world. Voice, no. Maybe like the small tri-state area. Oh, okay, yeah, we gotta start somewhere. You damn right. Besides the gilf being a granny I'd like to, it also refers to an attractive woman that's highly sexualized and she's over 55 plus, regardless of childbearing status. We're talking basically past the point where a woman shouldn't be having kids anymore. So old she has kids your age calling you young man. 1 foot in the grave, 1 foot in the hospital old. And honestly so old that you wouldn't think many young men would find women of this age bracket very attractive. But then I looked into it and found things like this.
A lot of young men think dating older women is a cheat code. He ain't lying.
I checked out the comments on this video and all you see is this. They're so bad though, Unc, I need older women. Old ships teach you how to sail. Older women are the best. I feel like Unc is lying to us so he can get them for us. I'm not being fooled. Y'all brothers out here starving for some old coochie like it's about to go on sale. And I mean, there's an expiration date. If you eat it past that point, that's on you. Now, I looked further into this and honestly, some of the stuff I found just made it all weird. And I mean extremely weird.
Oh my goodness!
First con, man, they're not all 10s. Even in anime, most old women look old, or young, or extremely young. But mostly old. Remember, being a gilf has nothing to do with how you look. It's mostly about age. And the character does not have to have kids. So, with that being said, do you guys think it's wise to date a gilf? And most of you probably do think it's wise, but I myself couldn't do it. Unless they look like Tsunade from Naruto, I couldn't do it. Once women and men get to a certain age, and I mean like in the 70s, 60s, they start to stink. They have bad body odor. Then I couldn't sleep with them with the lights on. It's like humping a dirty rug. And with every moan, I think she's about to die. But that's a pro and a con, man. The con is, if she dies, she's dead. Tragic. But the pro is, if she dies, and she puts you in her will, and she's rich, man, you may be set for life, unless she has kids. Man, them kids. Amen to that, they ain't mine. Anyway, next con. She may just be using you for your body. So am I. Good point. If you're just using her for her body and her finances, then this con doesn't involve you. But if you're the type of man who catches the feelings, then you, my naive brother, are screwed. That woman have been in the streets, under the streets, above the streets, to hell and back. She there for fun, for a good time, not a long time. So do not get attached. She's basically like your sugar mama anyway, which is kind of like a sugar daddy. A sugar mama is just a slang term for a wealthy woman who provides financial support, gifts, or material benefits to a younger man or woman, apparently, often in exchange for romantic or sexual companionship. So getting attached may not be to your benefit, but you can't have fun with her though. Oh yeah, old girl probably got more sexual experience than a damn succubus. And you best believe there is a pro. However, she may not have a lot of stamina. Her drive may be high, but her energy may be low. Just give her a Monster energy drink and hope it won't kill her. And if it does kill her, make sure she's done writing your name in her will. Make sure you take the cats too, because if you don't, we will eat her. Ew, what? Oh, rich ladies taste like crackers and cheese. The rich kind. Voice, you're nasty. Yeah, that's what she said before she died. The next pro is that she is financially stable. She does not need your money, which is great, right? Finally, a woman who doesn't ask you to pay for the first date. Now, this pro may depend on the woman in general, but this could be possible. Older women that can be considered gilfs are more mature than women that are in their 20s or 30s, so she may not expect nothing from you but your body, which is great. The gilf almost sounds like the perfect woman until you realize two very important things. Number one is, it's possible she could still be married or have been married in the past. And this leads to number two, she could have baggage. And I'm talking past baggage, kids, a dead dog. She could have owned slaves in the past. She killed her past boyfriends. And you're next. She's really a man. Who knows what it could be? She's old. A gilf's relationship story could be worse than a war story. She moans in her sleep, but not from PTSD. She dreaming about that one big black man who got away. Anyway, like I said before, she could also be using you to cuck her husband. And that's not good, at least morally. But are you still winning that scenario? Yes, I think you are. Unless her husband isn't okay with it, then you gotta pull out the blicky. Always stay strapped, men. Always stay strapped. Also, my last con is, people will judge you. I don't care what anyone says, dating a significantly older woman looks weird. But if you're of age, it is legal. Hell, I know many old men who were on their dying bed who got married to women who look like supermodels. So if that's okay society-wise, this is okay too. But just so you know, I will be the one giving you that bombastic side eye. Oh yeah, won't be judging harder than your parents when they caught you having happy fun time with Mr. Sacco. Hell, I'll probably push her over just to see if she can get back up.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Ha! Skill issue. Now, one good pro is that she could teach you a lot about life and what you may want in a future relationship. Or in other words, she may just help you become better in relationships in general. And for my last pro, and I found this out while doing some research about this topic, older women like this may be less insecure and more emotionally stable. She may not be worried about you leaving her, and she may be very comfortable with the way she looks. She also may be more blunt about what she wants in the relationship, which is great because that means you don't have to try to figure it out. And with that being said, is it wise to date a gilf, at least in reality? I would say yes. You have very little to lose and a lot to gain, and getting the no teeth may actually feel very good. But what about the ones in fiction? Because we all know the ones like Tsunade or Seika Ayase from Dandadan are cool, and also... But then there's ones like Rory Mercury from the anime called Gate, who is canonically 961 years old, but she looks like a 13-year-old. Yeah, she's also just as horny as an old lady who hasn't had, in a long time. I mean, look at bruh here. He's a victim. I don't care what no one says. He's a victim and I feel bad for him. He knows she's old, but he's not trying to get caught lacking. Now I think Freerin is a little bit different because she isn't described as being looking like 13, just petite. Or petite. Now Rory Mercury from the anime Gate is also a demigoddess, and she's also called Rory the Reaper. And this is another possible con for her. She's an apostle of Emroy, and I looked up who Emroy was in the series. And apparently it's the god of darkness, war, death, violence, and insanity. Yeah, Rory Mercury may be dangerous. In battle, she's known to be sadistically violent, but she only kills criminals and bandits. And one of the weirder things about her, she gets turned on when people die in battle around her. And there's an in-universe canon reason for this. Apparently, when people die in battle around her, the souls of the fallen warriors on the battlefield passed through her body to be drawn to the side of Emroy, which is the god I just mentioned. And as a demigoddess and apostle, the effect on her is like an aphrodisiac. So I don't really know what to say about her. Voice, comments, criticisms? Would. Now, Freerin is a tricky one because some would say, oh, she looks too young. Calm down. Freerin is a 5'3", 1,000+ year old elf who has literally been proposed to in the story by a guy she met when he was a child, who is now canonically in the story dead. Freerin is older than dirt. Freerin will outlive the trees and the turtles. The world will literally explode for y'all think Freerin will actually be able to get some. And if Himmel ain't cracking that because he's dead, then someone might as well do it.
I volunteer! I volunteer as tribute!
Now, Freerin is usually referred to as an old hag and a grandma by Stark, and she doesn't canonically have any children, but she did raise Fern. Fern was 9 years old when they first met, and currently in the manga, she is 20 years old. And Himmel's still dead. If she doesn't meet Himmel again by the end of the series, I'm gonna lose my... Now, you probably wasn't expecting this one. This one isn't from anime. It's Aunt May. Now, her age isn't really consistent in the series at all. From what I found, her initial depiction is around 60s to 70 years old, but her more modern interpretations, which is the more recent comics, depicts her as a younger woman in her 50s or 60s. And I know what you're thinking, Aunt May? Ugh, yeah, disgusting. She's not a gilf, right? Wrong! If you haven't watched some of the new Spider-Man movies like Spider-Man No Way Home, you wouldn't know that they made Aunt May bad as hell, and they upgraded her in all the right areas. Peter will have to fight crime all night long. Matter of fact, he better not come back home. The locks will be changed and the windows will be sealed tight. I'm trying to be the Uncle Ben that never was. With great power comes great responsibility, but you better believe I will not wear a condom. The power of my hip thrust will wake the neighbors, but I will take responsibility and say sorry. That's about all I would do though. They better wear some earplugs. Anyway, she has no cons besides her past baggage. Because Uncle Ben did die, and her nephew always comes home with bruises, so there's that. Anyway, moving on. Next one, Tsunade from Naruto. Now, this is not confirmed in the series, at least not yet. But it is theorized that she is the mother of Minato, which is Naruto's real father, and also he's the 4th Hokage. Now, Tsunade in Naruto is around 50, and she's described as looking like she's in her 20s. And in the anime Boruto, she's described as being around in her 70s to early 80s. Still looks young though. And while she is bad as hell, she has two cons. The first one is her gambling. As much as she gambles, she's either very rich and has money to waste, or she's sincerely broke. Either way, she has a nickname called the Legendary Sucker, which okay, that's a pro. Now this means she loses a lot, but when she wins, apparently it's seen as an omen that someone will die, which from that Jiraiya scene in the series, this could very well be true. And did I say 2 cons? Because I really meant 3. She uses a transformation technique to keep herself looking young, and she maintains this appearance through the chakra from her Strength of 100 Seals technique. And this is basically what that diamond on her forehead represents. Now Tsunade can maintain this form even while injured and even while asleep. But if she runs out of chakra, the transformation will dispel, and she will appear worn out with heavy wrinkles covering her body and with pale skin. And to that, I still say, wood. Alright, next one. Seiko Ayase from Dandadan. Oh yeah, she's bad. Now how's an 80-year-old something woman stay looking this young? No clue. It is theorized, however, that she may be an age lolly, or may just have a magical ability to stay young, or maybe cursed with immortality. It's also theorized that she may use certain equipment to make herself seem slimmer and look younger, but none of this is confirmed. She's also a chain smoker and can almost always be seen smoking cigarettes, which would possibly mean she smells like cigarettes, but that could be a con, for non-smoker cigarettes stink. Now she is a spirit medium, which means she deals with spirits. She can see spirits, and she also knows how to fend them off. And she usually fights with barriers, charms, and apparently a bat. She can exorcise spirits, and she can also borrow powers from gods in certain regions. But it seems like her power borrowed from the gods may be limited to that certain region. This is the way I read it. Her barriers are only effective if the god she is borrowing her powers from is around. So some of her abilities are basically region based. Now her granddaughter is Momo Ayase, but we honestly don't know who her daughter is, which is really weird. And I think the manga is still continuing, so I think there's a lot more we need to find out about her as a character. Main point is she's hot, and she can cook, so smash! Last one, Chi-Chi from the Dragon Ball series. For those who don't know, her granddaughter is Pan, or is it Pan? There's no way Gohan will name his daughter after a kitchen utensil, right? Hold up, gotta check this.
Pan.
Am I just hearing it wrong? Oh my god, I'm too American for this. Anyway, Chi-Chi's hot, but she's a definite pass for one main reason. Yeah, I ain't touching that with 10-foot pole. We'll probably talk more about Chi-Chi in another video because she is a princess and a MILF. But we'll leave it at that for today. You guys leave in the comments what you think. And how many of you out there has ever dated a Gilf? Or a woman significantly older than you are? And who would you add to this list? And also, which waifu do you want us to do next? Leave it in the comments what you think. And you guys have a great day. Bye!